Good morning. Welcome to the Iron Orchid Designs page, or better known as IOD. Today we are going to make a fun craft. Basically, we're going to be using some leftover materials, some new materials. We're just going to kind of mix it up. We are going to be making a Mother's Day gift. Now, Mother's Day is coming up this weekend, and everybody has a mom. So we're going to make something for mom. You can make it for your aunt. You can make it for grandma. You can put a different spin on whatever you want to do. We are just going to have fun creating. Last week when I was on, I did the clear coat with the Paradise paint inlays, and it was the beautiful bird on. It was not just on a brown box. I wanted. Oh, here it is. Let me show you. Look at this. This is what I created last time I was on, and I just wanted to show you how it came out. Look at that. You can't even tell where the clear coat starts and ends. And this is just where I cut out just a little bit of the inlay and put it on there. Real quick though, before I get started with today's, if you are here and you can hear me, you can see me, please type in the comments where you're from. Let me know. I always like to know where everybody is viewing from. They have such a huge audience, so I always like to know the different places. So my name is Shannon Stefanacci. I am with Pick and Boots Vintage down in sunny Southwest Florida. It's been really hot down here. If you are a Floridian, you know. And officially hurricane season doesn't start till June 1st, but the last couple of days we have had some doozies of some rain, and boy do we need it. All right, so okay, we have a few people. All right, Sweden, awesome. Mississippi, Kentucky, oh wow, we are around the world. All right, so without any further ado, today what we're going to do is we're going to make a Mother's Day gift. Now, it's just fun. Let me just show you the first one. I made a few prototypes, and then we're going to create one together. I'm going to put the screen here. Let's see. Let me get it right centered. So here we go. This is just a block of wood. Arizona, yes. California too. Okay, so this is just a block of wood. I'm going to put both of us up here. So let's go. That way you can see me as I'm talking to you. Massachusetts, all right. Washington, all right. Wow. Missouri, Maine, New York. Wow. Pretty soon we'll have all 50 states accounted for. So basically what this is just a block wood. It's a 2 by, I believe it's a 2 by 8, maybe 2 by 10. And I just stained it. Used air dry clay and made a beautiful frame, painted it gold. I just had some leftover Idaho, Georgia, yes. Wow. Some leftover transfers, and then of course one of my favorite molds, the Harper mold, where I did the mom. Now, this is nice because what I did was I left the back open, or the top. I probably should have, in hindsight, used the side so I could slide it in here. But what I did was I just made it so the picture can be changed out. You just slide that down in there, and then you have, well, there we go. So, and then you can also, if you get a card, you can stick the card in like that. So this is one example of what you can do with making the Mother's Day gift. So let me put this one aside, and I want to show you my next one. Now this one was so much fun to do. Look at this one. Now, does anybody recognize what I put in the background of this one? I bet you have, because everybody has been showing on here how to use these. These are the new paint inlays. Ooh, Calgary, France. Wow. So what I did here was I put the paint inlay on the back, and then I used the frames one and put some ribbon again so you can throw Mother's Day cards in there or notes the kids have written you. These ones, though, are permanent. Now, real quick, though, because I know some of you haven't necessarily seen how the paint inlays work, I just want to show you quickly here we go. So what I did was I just put one coat of paint on, And I have this going a little fast just so you can see. All right, so I put the paint on, then I took the rose chintz inlay, put it on the board, applied firm pressure, took my brayer and just made sure that I had good pressure of the chintz mold. Then I spritzed it with a little bit of water, took a cloth and pushed the design into the paint because it is a paint inlay and it's like a tattoo. So then now, let me show you this. Hold on. Take this off, take that off. This is how I removed it. I let it dry thoroughly. Then I spritzed it with a little bit of water. And I just let it sit there for a minute because you want to make sure that the paper is wet when you pull it off. Because if it's not wet, it's kind of still dry, it might be stuck to the paint. So let the water definitely sit there for just a second before you pull it off. Then look, voila. Peel it off and you have a beautiful rose chintz paint inlay. Now, oh, there we go. I'm supposed to have that on there. Now, finally, this is what I did was I sealed it. So I have my mixture. It's 50-50 clear coat and water. And I just spritzed it on, then let it dry. So now I know that my paint inlay is sealed. I don't have to worry about if it gets wet, that the paint's going to drip or whatever. So let me go back to here. So that is how I created this one. So then I picked out some pictures. Scotland, all right, South Africa, nice. Added some gold. I painted this one pink because it's my daughter. And then I added some gold accents to the outside. And voila. So here are two different renditions. And we are going to make another fun one. Now this one I'm very excited about because if you are a mom of boys, you'll know exactly where this is coming from. So let me put this up here out of the way. I'll try to, maybe I'll leave it. No, it won't fit. Okay, I'll put these up here. And real quick, before we get started, I want to show you. So here is another idea. I just took from the frames mold. I used resin on this one. Then I decoupaged a picture of my children on it. And it's a keychain. And you can write something on the back with a Sharpie. There you go, like a little keychain. So that's another idea. All right, so now let's create. So here's my board. I've already stained it just so we didn't have to wait for it to dry because that is not fun to watch paint dry. Now, if you guys use the transfers at all, then if you're like me, you have some that are left over. I always have pieces and parts that are left over, and I always save them because I never know when I'm going to use them again, or I might just need just a small flower or something. Here is the wallflower. This is just one piece that I didn't use on one of my projects when I use the big transfer. So, like I said, I always save them. So I'm going to put it basically kind of right in the middle because based on what I'm going to be creating, which you're going to have to wait to see, it's really cute. I think it'll fit the best here. Now, I know some of you are going to ask me, did I seal this first? No, I did not seal this. It's water-based and it'll stick directly to the wood. So I'm going to put it just about right here. And I do have parts that are hanging over, but that's okay. I'm just going to wrap it. So if you've used these transfers before, you know how easily they come off the paper when you apply the pressure. This is the stick that they give you. And I'm just going to rub. Oregon. Oh, thanks, Florence. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is just fun. And another thing about this is you can use it. It doesn't have to be for Mother's Day. You can make something cute for Father's Day. You can make something cute for a wedding. You can make something cute for just a gift. Thank you, or thank you for being my best friend. Any kind. All right, let's see. I'm going to stem this up here. Let's see how I did. It's not releasing real quick. Let me give it a little bit more pressure. There we go. So you can always tell when it's releasing. See how it's translucent here and not here? That's where it's release. All right. So now as I start to pick it up, just this one little place. When I start to pick it up, if I notice a place that didn't release, I just go back and I apply a little bit of pressure. Oops. Ooh. Sorry about that. My son was calling me from school and my watch picked it up. Oh boy. Son, I'm live. I can't talk right now, sweetheart. I love you though. Okay, I apologize about that. Okay. There we go. See how beautiful that looks on the brown? Oh, there we go. Almost done. Again, this is a piece from the wallflower. I love red. So for me, this is just beautiful. I love, love, love red. All right. So I'm just going to give it a nice push. Just make sure that it's on because this is a rough piece of wood. And so it's not totally smooth. So I want to make sure that it is on there pretty good. Now, normally I would seal this, but because we're going to be creating, I don't have time for it to seal it and then create while we're on camera. So what I'll do is I'll just go back and I'll seal everything once we get it created. So now, this is the fun part. Now, I have two sons, and here they are. One of them was just calling me on the phone. So I printed a picture. Here's their picture. I'm going to put it here. And then I already pre-did this one only because I wanted to make sure it fit around the picture. So here we have it like this. Now, I really like that the frame is white. I could paint it, but I like that the way the white pops off of the frame with the brown and the red. So I'm going to leave it like that for now. But I'm not gluing it yet. I just want to show you where we are going. If you have children, especially sons, have you ever heard the term bruh? Bruh. When do we go from mama to mommy to mom to bruh? It's going to make me cry. And I'm not kidding. My youngest is now 17. I love going back and looking at old pictures of them and just remembering all the fun we used to have. I mean, we still have fun, don't get me wrong, but they were just all so little and now they're just so big. If you are a mama, you understand where I'm coming from. Anyway, so Mother's Day is this weekend and it's just a time to be thankful whether you get to see your children or not, just knowing that okay, I'm going to start to cry, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore. So let's just start. I did a few of these ahead of time just because I don't think you need to sit here and watch me make several letters because some of them are the same exact letter and it would take me a long time. But we are going to do the last word together just so you can see. I'm going to kind of lay this out. Okay. So anybody, oh, your youngest is 34. I still cry. Oh, I know, me too. Goodness gracious. There's nothing better in the world than being a mama. All right, so I'm just basically laying this out right now. Now, I know mommy's not going to fit, and I knew that going into this project, but I figured I can just layer it. So we're going to play with that. So I might just put the M up here. And if I do that, I'll probably have to use some gilding wax or something to make it pop. Or I just might, let's just play for a second. These are not 100% dry, so I can still mold them a little if I want to. Oops. All right, so let's put maybe like that and put the O. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because if you have children and you put this stuff in front of them, it's like, here's a board, here's some clay, go ahead and create something. You know, it's not going to be perfect, and you don't want it to be perfect. You want it to be made with their little hands. Or, of course, you can always make it and then just use their picture. All right, so something like this, maybe, mommy. And then we have mom. Ugh. I tell you what, my youngest, I'm really embarrassed to admit this, but he doesn't even call me bra anymore. It's Shannon. I tell him that that's not acceptable, but he thinks he's funny. All right, now let's look at the Harper mold. This one is one that I use a lot. I love it, love it, love it. Now, sometimes your clay might get stuck in there, but I'm going to show you a real quick tip. One, you can either use a little bit of cornstarch or baby powder and stick it in. So I need a B, A, B, C, B, R, U, and an H. Bruh. I don't know where they came up with this term, but does anybody out there ever, their children say bruh to you? Maybe it's a Florida thing. I don't know. Okay, so now what I'm going to use is I'm using the air dry clay by Iron Orchid Designs. And I am going to put it in the molds where I just dusted with the cornstarch. Now, the cornstarch will help your letters or any intricate design that on any of these molds. Another quick tip would be if, then you know what I'm talking about. Okay, the cornstarch will help your letters pop out easier, but if that doesn't work, or if you don't have any, you can do your letters, stick it in the freezer for a little bit, and let them harden just a little bit, and then they pop right out. But I don't have time to stick these in the freezer for a little bit. I don't want to put y'all to sleep, so BRU. We are going to use the old cornstarch trick. And what is really nice about the Iron Orchid Designs molds is they have that lip, which makes the definition so easy to create. Where's the H? There you are. All right, so there we go. I have bruh ready to be pulled out. Let me just get some of this clay off my fingers. Now what I do is I simply just flip it over and I push lightly and I help them come out of the mold. So there's the H. And you'll notice that there is a little bit of a extra piece of clay. You just pull it off. And flip this over for the U. And just lightly pull them out one by one. There's the U. Now we'll go with the R. What's nice is you can still, if you pull them out and you kind of bend them a little bit where they don't, you can just bend them right back to where they need to be. And finally the B. Just push it out, help it a little bit. Set that to the side. Now, I have a little bit of extra clay in there. See that? Hey, Sally, thank you. All right, so then what we do is we'll put it up here. Bruh. Now, I could have stamped this, which would have been just as easy, but I like the 3D look. The new stamps are amazing, and they have, let me show you, the different fonts. It's letterpress, So look, 1 font, 2 font, 3, 4. Comes with 4 fonts, letters, exclamation points, all of the semicolon, the colon, everything. So I could have used this, but I don't know if it would have translated as well on here because I like the 3D. All right, so now before we continue, we have to decide how I'm going to lay it out. Do I want it to be left aligned? Do I want it to be right aligned? Or do I want it to be center aligned? I'm thinking it should probably be aligned to the left. Ooh, I don't know. Decisions. While we're thinking on that, I want to just, we're going to put the picture on first. So these are my 2 boys. You might wonder, like, how would the picture be protected? Well, you see these little clear plastic pieces that come on the other side of the stamps? This is perfect to cut to match your picture and put, and this will protect your picture. So I'm just going to cut this real quick. And then I'll just glue that in with the picture. A little long. But this way, my picture will be protected. Because I forgot my picture at home earlier, so I just printed one on my printer real quick. But it's good quality, but it's thin paper, so I want to make sure I protect it. So I'm going to use a little bit of glue. I just have regular wood glue. I could decoupage it. I could do all kinds of things, but I could hot glue it. I'm just going to take my picture, just do some light glue. I don't want to do too much. All right, so there's the picture. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my frame backwards, and I'm going to go ahead and glue the plastic first to the frame. And you want to make sure your plastic is clean. So I'm just going to shine it up a little bit with my cotton t-shirt. Pretty good. And put that on there. Apply some pressure. Now I'm going to put a little bit more glue. And you could do hot glue. But the wood glue, I know I'll make sure that it will stay. Thank you, Linda. I'm glad. Yours calls you dude? Oh, yeah. Huh? Oh, the joys of motherhood. Okay, so here we go. So we put this on. Now we have our picture, our plastic layer, just recycled the part from the top of the stamps that you don't use when you pull it off. And then our clay in the frame. And then we will let that dry. Now we have this hot mess over here. Okay. So I think we need to left align it. So we'll line up all our letters to the left here. Let's see how this will look. Now this one's going to be a little bit crammed, but that's okay. And then Mama. The stages. And another nice thing about a block like this, it stands up, and it looks really nice when it stands up. So it stands up. You can actually have on the back your children, they can write you a very nice note. You can put the date of the pictures or put in a little note when the picture was taken. Sky's the limits, but make sure they write something on the back, or you write something about the memory of that picture. Okay, so I think it's time to glue these on. It's kind of looking like a hot mess looking at the camera, but I think once we get these on and centered, it'll be good. I can always go back in and add some gilding wax to these, but I'm going to see what it looks like. So I'm going to just take these. They are hardening up, which is nice, so I won't bend them or damage them when I'm gluing them. So again, I'm just taking my Titebond, quick and thick, and I'm going to use it on the back. Titebond makes all different kinds of wood glue. From what I this one dries clear, so it's a good one. This is going to take a little while to glue all these on, but that's okay. And as I'm gluing them, it's going to look a little messy because the glue is white and it's showing on the flower, but when it dries, you won't see it. Okay. All right, so if you're watching this and you have a friend that you know that might want to make one of these, or you think it's a great idea, please feel free to share. Again, when making these, you can use whatever spare leftover IOD products you have. Okay. And let's see, here's A. Mama. I'm wondering if maybe I should do the brush different, like maybe a different color, but I can decide that later. As Titebond. Oops. Oh, that's funny. Titebond. All right, so let's get this one on here. Again, the glue, as I'm pushing these letters around, the white glue is dragging on the transfer, so you can see the glue, but it will dry clear, so pay no mind yet to if it looks a little sloppy. It's just the glue. So does anybody have any fun Mother's Day plans? My baby my middle one just came home from college, so I will have them all home for Mother's Day, which is going to be nice. And I just want to say thank you. I've had several people that Fort Myers is kind of like a vacation area, and they go to Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel, Captiva, and people that watch these videos, whether on my page, because I do a lot of videos also on my page, or on here, they have stopped in to say hello or bought product, and it's just I love it because that means I know that people are watching me, and I know that it just makes me happy. So thank you those of you that have watched and actually came because you were visiting in this area. That is awesome, and I love it. Okay, so again, I had to stack the mommy. I could have put the M over here, but I kind of like it like this. It'll be fine. I guess next time I'll just have to cut a longer board. These I already had cut for another project, and these were leftover, so it just happened to work out that I had these pre-cut. Now, imagine if I would have made all of these on camera, these letters. We would have been here till dinner time. I'm just kidding. Uh-oh. I just broke my M because I was getting a little careless. So the nice part about it is I'm just going to glue it together. Oops. And once it's glued, you'll never even know that I broke it. Okay. So now, and finally, now do you think I should put it down here? No, or put it right up here with the rest of it. Oops, there we go. Probably with the rest of it, because I might run a piece of ribbon through here. Okay, now these are still pliable because I just made these molds on camera. B. So they are easily manipulated to make sure that they are in the correct formation of the letter. Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. Oop. When they're not quite dry yet, they're a little bit. There we go. They're a little bit more fun to play with. Typically, I always use. I like to use them and put them on when they are still pliable, especially if I need to bend them around a corner or make them fit in a certain area. It's just so much easier when they are wet. Now, I got a lot of glue around there, so don't pay any attention to that because they will dry clear. I'm more concerned about my letters being semi-straight. And finally the H. Oops. Sticking to my fingers, I've got all kinds of glue on there. All right, and finally the H. Ta-da! Ta-da! Again, there is a lot of glue in there, so it does look a little sloppy. It's really not that sloppy, but it still needs something. So what I'm going to do is, I think it needs maybe a little shading around the outside. Sometimes it just needs a little bit of, if you know me, I like texture, layers. I like to layer, layer, layer. So I'm going to use a little bit of gilding wax. And I'm just going to use my finger. I'm going to run around the edge. It'll just give it a little bit more of a finished look. It will not be perfect, but it just is in need of it. What do you think? Do you think the black gilding wax adds to it? Kind of finishes it off a little bit. Put this really close to the edge over here. I should have probably moved it just a scotch to the right. Wonder if I can still do that without. There we go. There we go. That'll work. Now I could put a little bit more here. Oh, I cannot wait to see what this looks like when it's all dry. Do you think I should add a little bit of black to the frame? Ooh. Thanks, Linda. I appreciate you answering me. I agree with you. I love the black. I always have to add a little bit of color. Maybe I'll just do a little bit. Thanks, Jade. Actually, let me see if I can get the other ones in the same camera too so you can see. This one here, I did the gold on the outside because I had gold on the frames and gold ribbon. This one I didn't add anything to yet. I'll probably add the black, but let's see. What do you think? I'm going to add a little bit of black. I hope I don't ruin it. I'm sure I won't, but I'm just going to take some gilding wax and go lightly just to hit some of the details. There we go. Woo! I could have painted the frame. I really like the white, the way it pops off. This just adds a little bit of character to the detail of the frame because this is the one from the Frames 1 mold, and it's got such detail on it. And adding the gilding wax really makes it pop. What do you think? Yes, thanks, Jade. I appreciate that. Nowhere is it perfect, but guess what? It's got my babies on it, and I'm going to enjoy this for many years to come. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of this off my fingers first, and then I'm going to stand up. Actually, you know what? Let me add some gilding wax to this one, the black, because it really needs it. For those of you that might have popped on late, I made this where you could put the picture in so you can change it out. The little strings, you can put the Mother's Day card right in it. But I definitely feel this one needs a little bit of the black too. So let's put that on here. I think it just finishes it off, adds to it. Typically, I should have put it on before I did the ribbon because I got to go, or the twine, because now I got to go through it. And you know what? I'm going to add a little bit of black to the gold frame just for some pop. Again, you can design these any way you want using any of the IOD products. There are so many to choose from. Sometimes you just can use some leftover pieces, or whatever you want. So let me put these, let me see if I can zoom out here. Zoom out. Let's put 1, 2, and 3. They would look way better standing up. Actually, you know, let me do that, and I'll give you a better camera angle. So let me just do this solo. So you're going to be on me for just a second while I stand these up. And then, see if I can get them in the light. And then I'm going to take my camera, and I'm going to show you what they look like standing up. Hopefully, the mommy one does not, the letters don't fall off. Okay, let me use this camera. So here we go. So there's the first one. Now this one needs something else, like whether it says love or mom or the year. So there's that one. And then now we have, here's this one where the picture slides into the frame, and you could put a card over here. And then this one we just created, the mama, mommy, mom, bruh. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed creating with me today. Look at that. Let's see if we can get it without the glare. And this was just simply a leftover piece of the transfer from the wallflower. And you can make them for any occasion that you want. Father's Day is coming. How cute would this be on your husband's desk at work with your little babies on there saying Happy Father's Day? All right. Thank you for joining me. I will be back in 2 weeks with another fun project. You never know what I'm going to create. My name is Shannon. I am with Pick and Boots Vintage. If you want any IOD products, in the description is a link to all the retailers, whether it's online or they're brick and mortar. Visit there to see who is close to you and where to get this awesome stuff. All right. I will see you again in 2 weeks.